Hey there and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'll be teaching you the difference between the period or dot operator, the cascade operator, and the Null-Aware cascade operator. So without wasting much time, let's get right into it. So in order to kick this off, we'll be creating a simple class that will serve as our playground for experimentation. Here in my main.dat file, I have just a simple main function here, which is not doing anything at the moment. So at the top here, we'll be creating a simple class. So the class will be creating, I'll call it person, and this class will have just a single field, right? So it's going to be called name, and this name by default will have a value. So I'm going to set it to maybe John, like this, right? Good. So the first thing we are going to look at here is the dot operator. Now the dot operator is used to access members of an object or methods. So what that means is, let's say we have a class person. This name over here is a member of the class, right? It's a field within that class. So in order to access this field, we need to call this class person and then use the dot operator to access the field on it. So let's look at how that looks in code. So for instance, I need to get a name within this person class. So I can create a variable called maybe me, like this, and then set it to a person, capital person, like this, right? Good. Now this person, by calling this person, right, we get an instance of this class, which is this me. It's like an object. Now objects have fields and then methods. So the methods and fields are just everything within the class that we can access. I want to access my name and print it to the console, so I'll do that in the main function. And instead of this, what is your name, we are going to print me.name, right? And if I save this, realize that we get a John here. So that's very easy. So this is very easy. I mean, we just do me.name and then we get a name within this class. If we have a method, right, so let's assume I have a method called greet, right, and this method doesn't take any name. It's just going to use the name defined in the class. So it's going to say something like hello and then using the name within the class. And I want to call this greet method. I just need to use the dot operator. So it's always like we're accessing something within the class. So me.greet, and if we hot restart, we see the hello John over here, right? Good. So that's all about the dot operator. It's just used to access members of an object or fields or methods. So this is the object we are getting from creating this class. Now the next operator we'll be looking at is the cascade operator. So this operator allows us to chain multiple operations on the same object without repeating the object reference. Now let's look at how this look in code. Well, I'm going to add some fields to this class person over here, and let me first maintain the name. So we are going to keep the name, but then we are going to make it optional. So I'm just going to make it optional here, and then also not here, I meant here, right, like this. I'm going to add another field called age, so it's also going to be optional, and then we are going to have a method called greet, like we did. So greet, and then we are going to print hello, my name is, then the name we have over here, and then I am age years old, right? Good. Now for now, all these values are now. So if you just create an instance of this person and then call greet, we are going to get hello, my name is now and I'm now years old. We don't want that, so we are going to create another method called set details, and this is intentional. I'm not using a constructor because I want to explain how the cascade operator works. So I'm going to create another method called set details that takes the name and then the age, and then set the name in the class to the name we are passing in, and then also set the age in the class to the name the age we are passing in, right? Now let's look at the cascade operator. So here we are getting an error here, so I'm going to just take this guy out like this. What we are going to do is we want to first set the details for this person, which is the name and then the age, and then call the greet method. So after we've set the details, we want to call the greet method. The traditional way you would do it, or let's say the common way you would do it, will be to create the person object like we've done over here. So final me equal to person, and then we are going to do me.setDetails. Then we pass in the name, maybe John, so John, and then we pass in the age, let's say 13. Then we can come and do me.greet like this. Right, so imagine if we had like 4 operations that I wanted to perform, we just come and do me dot then the next operation. So this is where the cascade operator comes in. So the cascade operator is just a different way of doing this me.setDetails, me.greet without repeating the me or the object you are referring to. So instead of doing me.setDetails and then come to me.greet, what we are going to do is we're rather going to do me.setDetails, and then let's pass in the name, so like Jaron, and then age maybe 30, and then we are going to do greet. Okay, so what is actually happening is me.setDetails, right, performs an action on this me object, and then we are not looking at the return type of this set details, because if you look at here, it is void. That's not what we are looking at. Because we are using the cascade operator, the next operation that also uses the cascade doesn't perform on the set details. It is rather performing on the me object. Right, so let me show you what could happen if we use just one over here. Now if we do something like this with just one dot, which is just setting the details of Jaron, right, on the me object, we are going to get an error because we are relying on the return type of this set details, which the return type is void, right? So that is going to throw an error. But then if we do ... like this, we are not applying the greet on the set details method, what the set details method returns, but then we are looking at who is the actual object we are applying all these chain operations on, right? So we are looking at the me object, and if I had additional let's say something I want to do like ... I can still access the name and then the age. Hope you get it. So that means that I'm still performing these operations on the me object, not whatever the greet is returning. So if you're thinking maybe because of the return type this is not supposed to work, that's not actually how it is working. We are still looking at the object we are performing this cascade operation on. So that's simply the cascade operator. I will show you a raw example in Flutter how we use some of these, right? But then basically that's what it does. It just converts a long operation like me.setDetails, Jaron, and then me dot maybe whatever I want to do greet into something like this, which is me.setDetails.greet without necessarily repeating the me. So that's all about the cascade operator. It's very simple to use. If you start using it, you realize it's very simple to understand as well. So the next thing we'll be looking at is the Null-Aware cascade operator, which is this one over here, but it's something like this. Let's assume there is a person gets person like this, and this can return sometimes it can return a null, sometimes it can return, let's assume there is some kind of computation that can return either a person or null, right? So for now I'm just going to create a simple if check, if datetime dot now dot r is less than 12, then return person, else return now, or we could just return now here, so we don't need the else, return now. This is a function that sometimes returns a person, right? Good. So let's clear all this within the main function and then create a maybe person. So this time around we are not looking at an actual person which we are guaranteed will exist, but then we are looking at a maybe person. So how do we get a maybe person? Person maybe person, so this means it's just the name of the variable, maybe person equal to get person. So if I just create this like final, and if you hover over this, realize that this is an optional person. Sometimes you might have a person, or other times a person might not exist, right? So let's assume we want to perform this same cascade operator we did previously on this maybe person. We are going to get an error because person can be null. So it's going to look something like this: maybe person, and then we are looking for let's say dot greet, but then we get an error, right? So the method greet can't be unconditionally invoked because the receiver can be null. Let's even try with set details first. So set details Jaron 13, and then realize that we can't even call set details because person could be null. So this is the place where we use the Null-Aware cascade operator. So we just put a question mark in front, and if you've been doing Flutter for a while, you know that question mark means something can be null, I mean absence of a value. And then we can continue with dot greet, right? Good. So something like this just fixes it for us, because we are checking that if person exists, then call set details on it, and if we're able to call set details on it, then we can successfully call greet on it. So we don't even need to bring the question mark here again, as it even shows an error, because if we successfully call set details, then obviously we should be able to call greet on the maybe person. One common place where you will use this cascade operator is when you are showing a snack bar or you are showing material banner. So let me show you how that looks. For instance, I have a floating action button over here and I want to show a snack bar, but then I want to close the existing snack bar before I show the next one. If there is a snack bar already shown, I don't want to show the next snack bar. I want to close down before showing the next. So in this particular case, we can use the cascade operator to close the snack bar and then show the snack bar as well. And this is how it looks in code. So we do something like scaffold messenger dot of context dot right close. Is it close? Yeah, I think clear snack bars. Okay, clear snack bars dot show snack bar, and then we can pass now snack bar. Right, so what this is doing is just the same scaffold messenger dot of context, and then we are clearing the snack bar, and then we are calling the show snack bar on the same scaffold messenger dot of context. Right, so this is a very simple example. You get to use this a lot. Instead of doing scaffold messenger dot clear snack bar and then coming to the next line and then also doing scaffold messenger dot maybe show snack bar, we can just put everything on one line like we had previously, right? Like this. Good. So that's all about the dot operator, the cascade operator, and the Null-Aware cascade operator. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section. I will see you in the next one.